not going to beat around the bush here. I'd like to welcome to the stage Academy Award-winning actor and the star of Interstellar,
How are we doing with Comic-Con here in San Diego? How far back did we go? Is anybody back in the shadows back there? We got a back row. Hall H. This is my first Comic-Con. Thanks for having me.
first time. All right.
I heard y'all were loud though. Well, they said y'all were crazy. One time for this film. Can we hear you, Hall H, Comic-Con? One time. That's good. All right. I got a call from my agent, I believe, that said, Christopher Nolan's got a new film coming out. He'd like to meet you. And I'm working in New Orleans. I fly to California. I don't know what it's about. I go meet Christopher at his house for about 3 hours. He doesn't say one word about any new film or me being in a role in it. It was just he and I talking. So I remember leaving there going, what the hell is that about? I'm not sure. Anyway, evidently he liked meeting me and I enjoyed meeting him. And a week later, the script came out, which I read. I liked it quite a lot, and I was in.
We've had a hell of a year. It's been a busy year for you. The characters you played in this movie is a little different from the characters you played in some of the other recent movies and TV shows. Tell us about this character.
Play Cooper. Cooper is a pilot. He's an engineer. He's also a widowed father of 2 children. And he's living in a world at a time, which you'll see when you see the film, where civilization is basically just sustaining, meaning it's about growing food, having clean water, that's it, just maintain. We don't need any explorers, we don't need any astronauts, we don't need any new bright ideas. Something happens where the dream of being a pilot again, that dream knocks on his door again, and he gets an opportunity to go out and lead one of the greatest missions, the greatest mission mankind's ever taken. That comes with the consequence. He's got to lead a family. He's got to lead 2 kids. And that's as much as I'll tell you now, but that's part of what my man Cooper's got to go through, the decision he has to make right there.
What was it like working with Christopher Nolan for the first time?
Christopher is, he's always out for original. Now you're aware of his film, so you know what I'm talking about. Everything that he wants to do, it has to be original. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a great idea that inspired him from a classic Stanley Kubrick film. He may appreciate that, but he will not repeat that. He wants an original take on everything. He also works by his instincts completely. When you're on set, he's already conceived of this world that he wants to put on screen, and he's completely working by his instincts. We move fast. I was very surprised. This felt like an independent filmmaking. 2, 3 takes max, we move on. Most films this size, sometimes there could be 20, 30, 40 takes, not with Chris. I also believe that it's true to say he's a man whose reach constantly exceeds his grasp. And with this film, I think that's true, and you'll see, I know it's true, because it's by far the most ambitious film that Mr. Nolan's ever directed. When you see it, you'll see why.
Well, I'm sure people want to know, what else can you tell us about the film?
What else can I tell you? I can tell you a lot, but I'm not going to. Okay, good night. Just kidding. I can tell you a lot, but I'm not going to. I kind of want to, but just thinking about it. I mean, no, I'll tell you what, here's the thing. I'm not the best guy to tell you about it. I'm not. Anyway, let me introduce someone who it's his first time at Comic-Con, who made a take on it. Man who's never been here before, but he's here tonight to tell you that and answer that question. Will everybody get up off of your feet and introduce Christopher Nolan?
Welcome to Comic-Con, Christopher. here are crazy about. What is it like to be at the company for the first time?
Extremely honoured to be here. It never really worked out for us to come in the past because of when we were releasing the films, and on this film we felt we had the chance, and we thought it'd be a fun kind of thing to come down and see what all the fuss is about. This is really an incredible event. There's nothing like it anywhere in the world. Thank you for having us. And thank you for all of your support for our films over the past. Your enthusiasm has been an extraordinary thing. It's really been the backbone of all the success we've had, so we're very, very grateful. So thank you.
I think people are excited to come. So tell us, Interstellar, why make this movie now?
Well, I've always been a huge fan of science fiction. I've grown up really being amazed by the science fiction of the past. Obviously, Star Wars, 2001. You know, these are things that made an incredible impression on me. But more than that, I grew up in a time where to be an astronaut was the highest ambition of any child, really. We all just assumed that if we could really get somewhere, we'd become astronauts and so forth. And the idea that we would keep exploring space, we would keep pushing further and further out into the galaxy, seemed inevitable. And I felt that had fallen off greatly over the last couple of decades. That is to say, there's been a period of incredible technological change. It's been technology very much related to what's in your pocket, what's in your living room. And I really like the idea, and I hope it's true, that we're on the cusp of a brand new era of exploration where we're looking outwards and we're traveling outwards more. And I got very, very excited about the idea of taking my brother Jonas' script that has these incredible characters, Cooper, played by Matthew, and his family, and follow them on this extraordinary journey. Because I think to me, growing up when I did, the idea of a journey that would take you not just into the solar system, not just through this galaxy, but into a whole other galaxy, that's as big a journey as you can imagine trying to tell them.
Speaking of telling that journey on film as a filmmaker, you've always gone for practical sets, gone away from CGI. But when you're trying to depict a story in outer space, it's not so easy. So what can you tell us about the filmmaking techniques you use to render that?
Well, we've done a lot of things in terms of trying to create the reality of what this kind of space mission would be. A lot of innovative techniques, a lot of combinations of different techniques. And I'm not going to tell you what they are because I want you to come see the film and be amazed by them. I mean, truthfully, really the driving force for me was trying to give as much reality to the actors as possible. And so the way in which we put our spaceship interiors together, we really wanted to have real views outside the windows for Matthew and the rest of the cast to be able to really try and experience what it's like to be involved in that kind of journey. And I think also for the crew, for my DP and everybody else involved, to be in those spaces really feeling some sense of what it might be like to go and do these things was extremely important to the feel of the film. And I'm very much hoping that the experience that we're putting together for the audience is going to take the audience on that ride, because I think for me, primarily, the thrill of trying to make a large-scale science fiction film about journeying through the stars has to be about the experience for the audience. It has to be about taking you guys with us, and that's what we're aiming to do.
Does your decision to film in IMAX play in that, making it outside, bigger than life?
Very much. It being such a high-resolution format, just being the biggest possible way to see a film and immerse the audience in it. That format, which we used on a couple of movies, it felt really the perfect way to try and paint this on a very large canvas, because we're trying to show the biggest possible images, the biggest possible imaginable phenomena that exist in the universe. To try and do that, you need the biggest canvas possible, and that's what the IMAX film format is.
Tell us, just to wrap up, what does Interstellar mean to you?
I think these people here will tell me what it means to me when they see it, because I think no film is finished until it goes to its audience and is discussed and dissected and what have you by its audience. That really was the last stage of me trying to figure out what it is that we've been on about. But certainly what I think we've already learned in the journey of making the film so far is that it's really about human beings. It's about what it is to be human and what our place is in the universe, and what we found, which other filmmakers have found before us. It's almost the further that you travel out into the universe, the more you realize who we are as human beings.
Well, I'm being told that we're very short on time and that we don't have time for Q&As, but let's say this. If you guys promise to make a couple of them very quick for Christopher and Matthew, can we do that? Yes? All right, quick. Let's do it. I saw someone with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle hat run to the mic. Or to the bathroom, perhaps? All right, who's first? Go ahead.
Hello, I wanted to ask what the scientific research was like for this film.
Well, we're very fortunate that we have Kip Thorne, who's an executive producer on the film, who is an expert on all of these things. Particularly, he's done a lot of writing about the possibility of wormholes as they would appear in space-time and so forth. So, for me, in working on the script, it was a lot of very intense conversations with somebody who's a lot smarter and better informed than I am, that would eventually make my head hurt. But I had the advantage of being able to say to Kip, well, I don't want to understand this stuff too much because I have to be able to explain to the audience. But he's a very generous collaborator, somebody who's really spent an incredible amount of time thinking about these concepts.
I can see Kip Thorne's books on Amazon skyrocketing right now.
I think I wouldn't want to give too complete a list, because then when you see the film, you'll see all the things I've ripped off, which... and I'm not joking when I say that. The idea is, I mean, I've been influenced, obviously I mentioned Star Wars in 2001, Blade Runner has always been an incredible favorite of mine. I know every line of it, every shot. But really the whole gamut, you know. I think the single biggest influence would probably have to be 2001, which they re-released after Star Wars came out when I was a kid, so I was able to go with my dad to the cinema in Leicester Square in London and see it on the big screen. It was such a memorable experience for me, just to go on that journey in that way. That we really have an ambition for this film, not to do what that film did, because I don't think anybody ever could, but to tell a similarly ambitious story in terms of the scope and scale. That is to say, I want kids today to be able to go with their parents and sit, watch this story unfold on an enormous screen and really feel engaged with it. That's my ambition for the film, and really striving towards it.
All right, last question. Go ahead, sir.
Hi. First, congratulations on your Oscar, Mr. McConaughey. And my question is for Mr. Nolan. I've seen a lot of your movies, and I was just curious, why do a lot of your films deal with psychology? You deal with a lot of psychological issues in your movies. Just what about it fascinates you that you use that as a theme in your movies?
I wouldn't say that it was necessarily that conscious an idea of dealing with psychology, but some clever psychologist could probably explain why. The truth is, I'm just interested in people, and I'm very interested in the idea of subjectivity versus objectivity. I'm very interested in the idea that we're each imprisoned in our own subjective view of the world around us. We believe that there's an objective reality, but we're all trapped really within our own perceptions of the universe. And I think that's always an interesting thing to try and explore in any film, and make questions of point of view and so forth. I think that naturally leads towards mental process, I suppose.
Thank you. Christopher, anything else that we can tell these guys about Interstellar?
Nothing whatsoever. We really are trying, with everything we're talking about with the film, to get people excited about it, but we're also trying to keep it fresh, as fresh as possible for